Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Last Lap. My name is Jimmy and I'm joined by my friend and co-host Matthew as always. Today we're going to recap the duel races which were last night and they were pretty eventful. The first one was a little bit calm, but the second one had a lot of action in it. But we're going to do the duel recaps and then we're going to give you guys our picks for all three races this weekend for the Trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup Series. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It helps the channel grow. And then in between videos, you can find us on Instagram and now Twitter. We just started a Twitter account. The Last Lap News is what those are. Those will be linked down below. But without further ado, let's recap the duels. So for the first duel of the night, it was relatively calm. The racing was really good though. But Eric Almirola ended up winning the first duel. Joey Logano tried to make a move in turn 3, and Almirola was lucky enough to be able to stay ahead of him.
Joey Logano's won his last two duels. Here he goes. Bell goes with him on the bottom.
Side draft coming from Eric Almirola. Try to stall him. There it goes.
Here comes his help with the 20 car. What's
20's
the 20
going to
do? Try to put him.
And it's Almirola coming to the line. They are 3 abreast. It's Almirola over Christopher Bell and Ryan Newman.
Cindric was the one who advanced, and Ty Dillon was the one that was knocked out. There's a bit of controversy around that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Another headline from that duel is that Alex Bowman, the pole sitter, had apparently had some engine trouble and had to bring the car to pit road, and they were trying to diagnose what was going on there. As of right now, they have not replaced that engine yet, but if they do need to replace it, he will have to start at the back of the field. But other than that, that's most of the action from Duel 1. Matthew, do you have any brief comments about the first duel?
Well, the first duel was a little bit calm. Then the second one, which we'll get into in a little bit, but it was definitely controversial at the end with the whole that transfer spot to get in the 500, and that's caused a whole lot of debates and arguments right now because of how the duels are handled with the open cars. So besides that, though, it was just mostly a calm race. You had your typical single file line, green flag pit stops. As for Bowman's situation, I mean, they probably will have to change the engine from the sound of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do change the engine.
So the second duel of the night had a lot more action than the first one, mainly because there were 2 wrecks that happened and the finish was really close, actually. So the first wreck of the night happened and it involved Anthony Alfredo, Chase Briscoe, and Kaz Grala. We'll get into how that turned out with the open cars at the end. And then the second wreck of the night was a little bit of a bigger wreck, and that one was also kind of controversial. So Garrett Smithley and Brad Keselowski kind of came together at the same time, and they wrecked and took out Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, Garrett Smithley, William Byron, the outside pole sitter, unfortunately, and Noah Gragson, who is also trying to make his way into the field. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. So Kaz Grala ended up making it in, and then that means Garrett Smithley, Noah Gragson, and Timmy Hill were out of that, and they will not make the Daytona 500. Austin Dillon ended up winning, and he ended up coming out of nowhere. He got a really big push from Kevin Harvick, and Bubba Wallace was in the lead, out of, Bubba Wallace. I mean, what a run he had. But Austin Dillon ended up winning that duel.
There he goes. Truex trying to block Dillon, and he got 3-wided.
How about the run by Bubba?
Bubba Wallace pushed Kevin Harvick.
Another one. Yep.
Austin Dillon are going to have to get up and block him. Going to have to get up. Here
the
it goes.
inside, yep.
There's the block. Dillon to the bottom. Here they come, racing to the line. It is Dillon. Power move right there.
Who stuck out to you in that duel, Matthew? Who do you think is a threat to winning on Sunday?
Well, that second duel was definitely more exciting than the first one. A lot of stuff happened. Kaz Grala almost had scared not making the 500 by being involved in that first wreck. And then the second wreck, that's basically the outside pole sitter basically has to go to a backup car now. So that's one, possibly both of the front row cars going to the back as of right now. But yeah, it was definitely more interesting. I really thought Bubba Wallace actually had that one until Austin Dillon had that big run coming out of turn 4. And let's see. For Cascarales, it's great for that team because they're planning on running the Daytona Road Course right after the Daytona 500 with AJ Allmendinger in the wheel. So they're going to have points now. That's going to help them get in as an open team for next weekend. So that's great for Colleague Racing. And yeah, it's going to be interesting how that if that dual tool is exciting. I can't wait to see what the 500 is going to be like.
So there was a bit of controversy surrounding the duels and how the open cars were able to make their way into the field. So on Wednesday night, they did qualifying, and the 2 fastest cars that had to make it on time automatically made their way into the Daytona 500. And then on Thursday night, everybody else had to race their way in. So the current rules for how that works is, so for example, in the first duel, it was Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric, and Ty Dillon. So if Ryan Preece already locked himself in on time, so if he finished in front of Austin Cindric and Ty Dillon, then the next fastest car out of those 2, Cindric and Dillon, would make it based on their qualifying time. So that's actually ended up how it worked. Ryan Preece finished in front of Cindric and Dillon, so Austin Cindric got in on time and Ty Dillon didn't. But the problem is Ty Dillon ran a really good duel race, and he finished on the lead lap, I think inside the top 10 or something. And Austin Cindric actually went a lap down, and Cindric got in the duel, but Ty Dillon didn't. So that's a bit of controversy. I don't think that's how it should work. I think once you qualify on Wednesday night and lock yourself in, that should be it. You shouldn't have to worry about the duels at all. Like, you should still run them, but like that car shouldn't have an impact on the other cars trying to make it in. So I personally think Ty Dillon should be in because he ran a better clash race, but unfortunately that's not how it works this time. The same thing happened in the second duel, kind of, but it didn't really matter because Smithley, Gregson, and Timmy Hill were already out of the race. But I definitely think NASCAR needs to look at this for next year's Daytona 500 because this is not a good look for them because a lot of people are thinking Ty Dillon should be in because he ran a better duel race. So, Matthew, what's your thoughts on this open and charter system and how they're doing the duels and qualifying?
Yeah, that was confusing. Like Ty Dillon was basically had in until like that last like foot basically, but I'm actually more confused of why the Rick Rare racing cars actually have charters when all they're doing is in the back being 10 miles per hour slower than everybody else, while the 96 car, the 16 car, the 33 car, heck, even the 13 car, they're in the 62. They're all in the front trying to get in. And you have these Rick Rare racing cars like the 15, the 51, 52. They're basically in the back going 10 miles per hour slow. Heck, like the last lap of that the duel number 2, that 15 car was barely even moving. And somehow I'm glad they didn't throw the caution out for that. That would have been an absolute mess. But
It almost caused a caution too because they were racing by him like 3 wide, and the whole field almost crashed because of him.
It was like Derek Cope, I think. He was going like 15 miles per hour down that back straightaway. I don't understand why in the world that car has a charter. But I just think I got an idea for this charter system. I say we make 1 or 2 or 3 of those charters movable. So that means if the car if this certain car who doesn't have a charter does better, like the 37 car, for example, does better than like someone who already has a charter, like the 15 car, the 51 car, then they should be able to take that charter and put it to the 37 car for the next season. So that means the 37 car of a charter because he actually earned it because he was actually running good. He was actually trying. These Rick Rare racing cars don't even try. They don't care about improving or trying to make their cars faster. They just care about that money. That's really it. So yeah, that's what I'm having more of an issue with than what happened at that finish.
I think another thing they could do potentially, I don't know if this would work or could work, but I think like doing it by owner points could work too. Like the top 35 and owner points or whatever could like earn a charter or whatever. I'm not sure if that's how it works already or whatever, but I mean, I think that could be a solution too. Like the top 30 or 35 in points could automatically have that charter, and then everybody else, if there's like 5 or 10 other cars trying to make their way in, they could qualify on time or in the duels or whatever. But um, just to let you guys know, this is the only time that they qualify like this with these duels and everything. So if you guys don't understand it all the way, it's okay. But once qualifying isn't at every race this year, but if there is qualifying at an upcoming race, we'll be sure to let you guys know how it works. But all this charter stuff and dual races and whatever, this is only for the Daytona 500. So if you don't understand, it's okay that you're confused. We were too. Like we were both confused with how this charter thing and all this was working out last night. So it's all right.
Hey, one more quote. Just like Kyle Busch said last year, nothing like a Gates and a Smithley, and that's what we saw last night.
So now that all the qualifying and stuff is all figured out, at least for the Cup Series, we're finally racing this weekend. And tonight is going to be the truck race. That'll be at 7:30, 7 or 7:30. Let me double check. 7:30 on Fox Sports 1. That'll be at Daytona, obviously. They'll be qualifying later this afternoon. And we're going to be doing our picks for that. And we're also going to be picking for the Xfinity Series, which will be 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon / evening. So, Matthew, who you got for the opening truck and Xfinity race?
For the truck race, I was watching practice last night. I noticed the 3 KBM cars were on top of the board. They seem to have really fast trucks. So from what I'm seeing, I'm going to go with John Hunter Nemechek because he just ran Cup Series just last year. He's going to have a lot. He has a lot of experience coming back down to the Truck Series. So I have him winning the Truck Series. Race at Daytona. For Xfinity Series, I don't think it's that hard. I mean, come on. The last 3 races, we've seen a trend. Colleague racing, always there in the lead. Heck, they took each other out at Daytona and the other calling car won. So I'm going to go with Justin Haley because he's on a hot streak of these restrictor plate tracks. He's won the last 3 restrictor plate races. So I mean, he can continue that trend, I feel like. It could be any calling car, basically, because they're just that good at restrictor plate racing. So I'm going to pick Justin Haley.
So for the truck series, I was thinking, and I originally had somebody down, not one of your picks, but I originally had somebody down, but I just thought of somebody else who's actually pretty good at restrictor plates. And he had a pretty bad season last year. So I'm going to pick Johnny Sauter. I think Sauter's going to come back, and I think he's going to have a good season. And he's usually pretty good at restrictor plates. So I'm going to pick Johnny Sauter for the trucks. I think it'll be a start of a comeback year for him. And then for Xfinity, you stole my pick. So I'll go with Justin Haley too. Like you said, stats don't lie. And Colleague Racing has been amazing at restrictor plates. AJ Allmendinger, I mean, he could be a threat too. But I think Justin Haley has these restrictor plates down. So I'm going to pick Justin Haley and Johnny Sauter for the Xfinity and Truck Daytona races. Now it is time for the biggest predictions of the weekend, and that is the Daytona 500. Biggest race of the year, the first race of the year. We're ready for it. We hope you guys are too. So we're going to do Cup picks a little bit different than Xfinity and Trucks. So we're going to have a main pick, and then we're going to have a threat who would be a driver who could easily get the win if the main pick has an issue or something. And then we're going to have a sleeper pick. So like a dark horse or someone that we might not expect to win, but they could win. So Matthew, who you got for your picks? Your main pick, your threat, and then your sleeper pick. Who you got?
Well, it's Daytona 500. Everybody has a chance to win this race. As for my main pick, I'm going to go with just like everybody's picking their favorite driver. I'm picking my driver, Kyle Busch, because he's on the mission. This is the last checkbox he needs to check off. I mean, the last box that needs to be checked off. The Daytona 500. He's won every other one. Championships. He's won the Southern 500, the Brickyard, Coca-Cola 600. All these crown jewel races. This is the only one left. Unless they make the Circuit Americas one day a crown jewel race. But other than that, this is the last one he needs to check off. So I'm going to have him as my main pick, of course. But, anything can happen. But as for my threat pick, of course, it's got to be Denny Hamlin. To back-to-back Daytona 500. He's going for his third straight Daytona 500. He's a 3-time Daytona 500 champion. He's been on a hot streak of this restricted plate races. I mean, he's, of course, going to be the threat. As for my sleeper pick, I'm going to continue to keep going down the Toyota trend. I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace. I mean, that car has shown a lot of speed this whole speed week. He was fastest in practice. He almost won his duel race, and he was really aggressive during his duel race and staying up front. He has a lot of speed in that car, and I feel like he can easily sneak by and try to be a contender to win this race. So I got Bubba Wallace as my sleeper.
Why am I not surprised you pick all Toyotas? But
Hey,
you have
that's not why.
you have good
I'm
reasoning
going
for
down-
all of those.
I'm going down the trends.
So for me, my main pick is going to be Denny Hamlin
Oh, wow.
because of those stats that you said. He's on a roll, going for his third straight win in the Daytona 500. Won Talladega last year too. Finished fourth in the top four in all four restrictor plate races last year. So he's definitely got it figured out. He's always hanging around, and if he's in it in those last 10 laps, you can definitely count on him being a threat. So he's my main pick. And then my threat is going to be, this is tough. I want to pick one of the Penske cars, but I'm honestly not sure which one to pick. So I'll go Ryan Blaney as a threat because he was really good in his dual race. He just hasn't quite had the luck. I mean, he won Talladega last year, and he was right there at the Daytona 500 last year. So Ryan Blaney is going to be my threat. And then my sleeper, you stole my sleeper pick, Bubba Wallace. I mean, he's been really good all week, qualified well, ran well in practice, almost won his dual race, like you said. So I think Bubba's definitely a sleeper. This race is definitely, I guess you could call it an easier one for them since it's a restrictor plate race. And you don't have to worry about well, you do have to worry about handling, but you don't have to worry about like setups and all that kind of stuff. After this week, it'll be interesting once we get to some road courses and short tracks, 1.5 miles, all that to see how they do. But I definitely think for the Daytona 500 that Bubba is definitely a sleeper. That is all for this episode of The Last Lap. We hope you guys are just as excited for racing this weekend as we are. If you guys have any predictions, make sure you drop those in the comment section down below. We're going to be uploading videos every Monday and Friday now, so make sure you guys are subscribed and ready for that. And then make sure you check us out on Instagram and Twitter because I'll be doing all the Twitter stuff. I'll be tweeting and whatever, and both of us will be doing Instagram stuff every now and then. So make sure you check us out there, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.